All right, I want to thank every one of you who left a feedback on the latest video that I posted, HP Spectre X360. The laptop was not fixable, and a lot of you suggested what the problem could be, or suggested what the chip is, or what it does, or whatever feedback we got on that video. It's a lot of help to me and a lot of people. We do not stop learning, and just when you think that you know everything, then you stop learning. So I'm glad to see all that feedback. And what I'm doing today is working on exactly a similar laptop that we worked on yesterday. I just want to work on this board and compare to see if we have similar issues as the other one. Big Boss already removed the board, and we're going to go ahead and inspect this board. The first thing I want to do is inspect it under a thermal cam so we do not waste a lot of time. But before I do so, I want to plug the USB-C cable and look at the amp meter. Right off the bat, I see something different. Right now, the first port here is showing 20 volts. And the other port, is 5 volts. Amps being drawn by the 5 volts, nothing. What about the 20 volts? Because we have two USB-C ports. We should not be getting 20 volts when you plug the cable in unless the machine is turning on. But we are getting 20 volts. And 0.0 amp draw. So the motherboard is not drawing any amps, and one port is drawing 20 volts and the other one is drawing 5 volts. So let me plug the cable in the 20 volts or in the USB-C port that is drawing 20 volts and monitor it under a thermal cam. And right off the bat, we see two things obvious. We did not see that with the other board. We have the USB-C controller here. It's a PCIe 3.0 times 4. But the interesting thing is we have another thing that is getting hot, which is right over here. So we need to release. We need to remove this cover in order to see the chip. This one here. So this is getting hot, and the controller is getting hot too. The controller is going on and off. It's probably trying to turn on and then it goes off. What I want to do is inspect for a short in this area to see if we have any signs of a short around the controller. I do not know what this chip is. I'll look it up. But for now, let's take a look at the controller under the microscope. Let's go ahead and test for a short. And look at that. We have a short here. Same goes here. Same for this one. Same for this one. So this is enough to know that we have a short in this area. Short on this one. Since the controller chip is what got very hot under the thermal cam, it's very likely that the controller chip is not good and needs to be changed. What I'm going to do is remove the controller chip and see if we still have a short on the caps. If after removing the chip the short is released, then we'll just order another controller chip, solder it, and we should have a working board. Now this chip was heating up as well, this one here. I want to test the surrounding to see if there's a short of any type on this area. No short, no short, no short. So this area looks good. The short is most likely coming from the controller chip and not from this chip. I mean, if this chip was short into ground, I'm sure we would have gotten at least one capacitor to short to ground, but everything is clean here. And I do not want to move away from the controller chip because that what immediately got hot when inspecting under the thermal cam. I'm going to add some flux onto this area. And let's heat up. There's no tweezer that will fit the width of this chip, so I'm going to have to extend the tweezer so it wraps around. like so. I mean, that's a big chip. It's gonna take a lot of heat to remove it off the board. And now we're gonna test to see if we still have a short. But before we do, I wanna make sure no two pads are touching each other, like what I see down here. Okay, let's test to see if we still have a short. If we do not have a short anymore, then chip is the problem, the controller. And the short is gone. Look at that. The short is gone. No short. So the controller is the problem. Is it possible that the controller on the other one is also the problem? That's very possible. Although I did not see any heat spots on that part of the board when we inspected that board, I immediately jumped to the MOSFETs and started to test over there. And I did not find a single capacitor on that board that had a short. But still, I was not able to figure out the problem on that one. On this one, it was very obvious. As soon as we plugged the USB-C cable onto the logic board, the controller chip got very hot. We tested the capacitors around the chip and immediately we noticed a short on the capacitors. Right now, after we remove the controller chip, we release the short. We do not have a short anymore. Now, I want to inspect this board under a thermal cam one more time. Although voltage is not going to reach other areas of the board, but I still want to do it. And just monitor the board under a thermal cam. Now, we're going to have a lot of heat on that board because the board is still hot. So it's not a good idea to test right now. The board is still very hot from taking that chip out. This is the controller chip. We removed the controller chip off from here. And now we no longer see this chip getting hot. So it was this controller chip that was causing heat onto that chip. Look at this. Or it could be that because we removed the controller chip, voltage is not reaching onto other areas of the board. Regardless, the short is gone. We do not have a short anymore. For now, I'm going to put this on the side. I'll let Big Boss put this back inside the laptop so we do not lose the screws and other parts of this laptop. When working on those laptops, I tell customers, if we are able to fix it, we're going to charge you a certain amount, $195. And if we cannot fix the board, we're still going to charge you $65 because it takes a lot of work to diagnose and inspect a board. Now, usually when working on a board, I can figure out the problem within a minute or two. Like now, we figured out the problem in 30 seconds. The other board that we worked on, the video I posted yesterday, X360, I worked on it for 1 hour and a half and I was not able to figure out the problem. And people were asking in the comments, is this board not fixable? Well, it depends how much time you want to spend on it. I cannot spend the whole day working on one board. We have a lot of things to get done. And I give myself an hour or two to work on a board. If it's not fixable, then I just give up on it and I send it back to the customer. Because if there's an obvious problem on the board, and I usually figure out problems pretty quick, then it should not take long to figure out the problem. I'm going to give the other board another chance, but I'm not going to spend too much time on it, maybe 5-10 minutes maximum. If I'm not able to figure out what's causing the problem, then we're just going to send it back to the customer and call it for the day. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, leave a comment if you have any questions. And I really appreciate all the comments, suggestions, and feedbacks that we've been getting on the videos. I'll see you again in the next video.